Hi, welcome to my channel Inspiration Always. I am Preeti and today I'll be sharing a few things about meditation. Enthusiasm for meditation has spread around the world and across all sectors and faiths. In a time that is volatile and unpredictable, meditation offers safe refuge, a place for us to step into the shade from the glaring sun of outside circumstances. In this COVID-19 pandemic situation, we know how we are looking for a safe refuge. As we learn to meditate, we come to understand that our inner states don't have to fluctuate with outer circumstances. We realize that we can create an inner condition that is pure, peaceful, and loving, regardless of what is going on around us. Once our inner awareness begins to change, we see that our stable and peaceful inner state creates an atmosphere around us that transforms the people and situations we encounter. It's like magic. But where do we start and how do we continue to refine our practice? There are hundreds of different kinds of meditation being offered in virtually all parts of the world. Some are connected with Hatha Yoga and others with certain scriptures and religions. Some, some promise to help you relax and others promise to help you empty your mind. There is likely benefit in all of the many kinds of meditation available today. The meditation guidance offered in this video is based on Raja Yoga, a deep and universal understanding. Of course, it is possible to begin meditating without having a base of spiritual knowledge, but understanding the spiritual principles offered in this video will allow you to move into the deeper experiences of the mind and intellect. Looking at a complex world where problems at all levels are intensifying in spite of economic growth and ever increasing technological possibilities, it becomes clear that structural solutions will not be found at an outer level. The root cause of all problems is inside the human mind. The wisdom about the inner being and the inner world is the missing link. In an experiential way, this video will help you explore the inner dimension, a broader perspective on existence, higher consciousness, and the dynamics of the human mind. The essence of meditation says that health, happiness, and abundance are the natural state of everyone. When our consciousness, vision, attitude, thoughts, and actions are in line with eternal laws, then security, peace, compassion, and joy will be our natural experience. Humanity has moved away from that natural, highest state of being by losing spiritual consciousness and wisdom. It subsequently has drifted into a state of spiritual ignorance and physical consciousness in which insecurities, dependencies, and unease have become the norm. In this state of lower consciousness, which we can also call the illness of the soul, one becomes vulnerable to experience stress, problems, disease, and all forms of discomfort and sorrow sooner or later. This is telling us that our approach to life needs adjustment. The purpose of meditation is to shift from physical consciousness, that means identifying with the body and the physical personality, back into our original state of soul consciousness, knowing and experiencing the soul and the spiritual personality to be the real I. Meditation generates. Meditation generates this shift of consciousness by broadening our perspective. Meditation also deepens our understanding of life and of the more subtle laws that govern the quality of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Enjoy this journey of experience into the profound wisdom, joy, and calm that comes through meditation. First of all, let us know what is meditation. Meditation is about choosing and guiding our thoughts. Meditation is exploring the power of thought. Meditation is consciously flooding the mind with thoughts about eternal truths. Meditation is the art of deeply reflecting on the true self. Meditation is the process of guiding our thoughts to create a spiritual experience. Meditation means to concentrate on spiritual thoughts. By concentrating on spiritual thoughts, higher feelings naturally emerge. This awakens our highest potential and character. Meditation is easy and fun if you know how to do it. Meditation can be very empowering and enriching if you practice regularly and take your spiritual journey seriously. Everyone can learn it. You just need an open mind and the willingness to experiment with new ideas. For the practice of meditation, one has to pay attention to two aspects. First, the content of thoughts during meditation. In my video, I will explain in detail about thoughts, and in the rest of the video, we will explore in detail the content of meditative spiritual thoughts and give many examples. Second, the concentration of thoughts on a specific spiritual theme during meditation. Concentration on spiritual thought creates the meditation experience. In my upcoming videos, you will find simple steps method that will lead you into concentration and meditation. So I will start with the content of thoughts. Mind. Thoughts are created in the mind. Our mind can be understood as a stage, and thoughts are like actors entering the stage. Every thought leaves feelings, an atmosphere, and an impression behind in the mind. The more intense and longer the thought, the stronger will be the feelings that come from it. Every time a thought is repeated, the impression it leaves on the stage of the mind becomes deeper and stronger. Different kinds of thoughts. In the mind, there can be different kinds of thoughts, which we would classify as four types of thoughts. Rather, I would say five types of thoughts. The first category is necessary but ordinary thoughts. Necessary thoughts are the thoughts about organizing daily life. Examples: at 9 a.m., I have an appointment with the dentist. I have to buy bread and vegetables today. I have a meeting with a colleague at 4 p.m. The second category is useless thoughts. Useless means waste thoughts. Waste thoughts are thoughts about something we cannot change or influence, or that's not our business. These thoughts tend to be cyclical and repetitive. We can also call this wasteful thinking because it depletes our mental energy. It does not solve anything and it does not lead to anything constructive. Examples: why did my neighbor buy a new car? They already have a car. Oh my god, they have two houses and yet they are going to procure a new house. How did they get the money? That's none of my business. Then again, another example. I'm so worried about what will happen in the future. Looking at the corona pandemic, I don't think that economy will boom. Why did my colleague not smile at me today? There must be something wrong. Somebody must have said something about me. Something must have happened. His attitude is changed today. And then I keep guessing and assuming. So all these types of thoughts are useless thoughts or waste thoughts. Then the third category is negative or destructive thoughts. Negative or destructive thoughts are the thoughts that create sorrow and harm for the self and oblique or for others. They can hold the mind in a spiral of negative emotions. Examples: I will never be able to speak on the stage because I've always failed at everything. I don't care if the family needs other things, but I have to buy my drugs. If he opens his mouth one more time, I will hit him. I will not leave him. I hate that person. I will never forgive him. All these types of thoughts are negative or destructive thoughts. Then the fourth category is constructive or positive thoughts. Constructive or positive thoughts focus on solutions instead of on the problems. For example, okay, I understand that corona pandemic has brought us a financial setback, but what measures can we take to overcome it? Okay, she may not be so good in English, but she is great in arts and languages, other languages. He plays a good football. He loves to play football, although he doesn't like science. Fifth category is elevated or spiritual thoughts. Elevated or spiritual thoughts are thoughts about the higher self, the spirit, the soul. They are thoughts about the world of the soul. There will be many examples of spiritual thoughts I would be sharing with you in my video. Meditation is creating spiritual thoughts and concentrating on them. Generally, we have all sorts of thoughts floating around freely in our mind. Common daily thoughts. I have a board meeting today. Tomorrow I have a presentation. I have to pick my child from the school. Oh, I love to eat ice creams. I want to have a puppy. What would my children be doing at home? They must be wasting their time. All sorts of thoughts keep floating around freely in our mind on a daily basis. Then we have an intellect. The intellect is the director of the stage, that is your mind. The intellect is the power to recognize, analyze, understand, and discern. In other words, the judgment power. The power of your intellect comes from spiritual knowledge and wisdom. The more the intellect has accurate and complete knowledge, more authority there will be over the stage, that is your mind, and the actors, that is your thoughts. One with a strong and wise intellect will know which thoughts to choose and which thoughts to avoid. In meditation, we use the intellect to choose and guide our thoughts. Thoughts enter the stage, intellect discerns and decides. So, mind is the stage, thoughts are the actors, and intellect is the director who would keep telling, oh, this is very good. Stop these thoughts. These thoughts are not good. But this will waste a lot of my energy and time. So, this way, our intellect keeps telling our mind and controls our thoughts. What are spiritual thoughts? What kind of thoughts will there be inside a mind that is meditating? Spiritual thoughts are thoughts about the bigger picture, when the intellect is using a broader and higher perspective. For example, thoughts about the higher being, the true self, the soul, our inner being. Thoughts about eternal home of the souls. Thoughts about supreme soul. Thoughts about family of souls. Thoughts about the nature of the physical world. Thoughts about being a guest in this physical world. I will explain all these themes and give examples of the kind of thoughts one can have when reflecting and meditating on these themes. Spiritual thoughts about the higher self, the meaning of human being. This word human being has two parts. Human refers to the body and the physical personality, and the being is non-physical consciousness. The being uses the body to experience and express in the physical world. The being is the living entity. The being creates thoughts and feelings in the mind. The being discerns, analyzes, and makes decisions through the intellect. The being makes the body move. The being is the one who experiences. This non-physical being is invisible but can be understood. The image that we will use to indicate the being is that of a star of light. Light symbolizes consciousness or knowledge. The being is the higher self, the real I. The body is the temporary vehicle. If the being leaves the body, what remains is a corpse. The body or matter does not have thinking power or decision-making power. Matter does not have the ability to experience love, peace, sorrow, happiness, etc. All those are functions of the consciousness, the non-physical being, the soul. The being takes the body on loan and operates it temporarily. Meditation is consciously being aware of the self as the non-physical being, the soul, the real I. The original experience of the higher being is of happiness, peace, love, clarity, freedom, and power. In a state of security, these higher emotions naturally emerge. One way to promote that state of inner security is when we experience eternity and immortality, and when we cultivate a broader and higher perspective on life. Meditation is feeling secure because of experiencing eternity and immortality. Meditation is remembering our eternal, higher nature. It is bodiless, loving, innocent, uncomplicated, pure, joyful, compassionate. It can't ever lose anything. It is wise, content, secure, free, invisible, immortal, eternal, and peaceful. The being is the experiencer. The being comes from the non-physical world, enters the physical world, and associates with the body. At the end of the journey through time and space, the being leaves the physical dimension again. The real I is the being. The body is a vehicle for a limited period in time. In my future videos and in this video too, I will be using different words to indicate the soul. It can be very useful to play with different words in our reflections and meditation practices to grasp the deeper meaning of the word and to get a taste of the personality or character of the non-physical higher being. Some words in the list are the true higher self, the true self, the higher self, soul, being of light, higher being, inner being, real I, real me, angelic being, consciousness, unearthly being, non-physical being, eternal being, traveler, guest, observer, point of light, star, experiencer. Let me share a few examples of spiritual thoughts about the higher self. When thinking about myself, mostly the bodily form comes to my mind. But there is something more. Is the body the real I? Is the job the real I? What about the inner being? The one who has thoughts and feelings and memories and aspirations. That is the intangible, invisible me. We can understand the real I as a tiny star of light, pure, clean, serene light, a light that has consciousness, a living light. The body is the physical form, the outer form. The star of light is the eternal form of the inner being, the soul. Whilst having these kinds of thoughts, my mind comes calm and there is a feeling of lightness and inner silence. Although I use the body and have different sense experiences through the body, the real I is this being of light, being of peace, subtle, invisible. Let me give you some more examples of spiritual thoughts about the self. The body is like a vehicle and the higher being is the driver. The higher being is situated in the center of the forehead behind the eyes. That's like the driver's seat. The body is the vehicle of the soul. The being of light is the driver, looking out of the windows of the eyes, listening through ears. The driver decides the direction. The driver steers the car. The car never drives on its own. The driver never becomes the car either. So with this, I would conclude here for today what meditation is. What kind of thoughts do we create during meditation and concentrate on them? You take away your consciousness from the worldly thoughts, worldly life, to the inner being, to the higher self, to the true self, and dwell in that experience of peace. Feel that inner being, feel that energy, and you feel elevated, refreshed. You get more clarity while performing the actions. So you can choose your thoughts. You can direct your thoughts, guide your thoughts, and so your behavior and your actions. It's a wonderful experience. If you continue with me on this journey, you would definitely feel a difference, and that will improve your worldly life as well. It has a direct impact on our worldly life too. It's not separate from this worldly life, but we go through the experience of this worldly life in a spiritual way and make the most of it. Thanks for patiently listening to this video. Thanks for your cooperation, and I'm looking forward to share more videos with you so that you can get all that benefit which I have been able to receive. Thank you so much.